Breaking news, hot off the press. So it looked like Caitlin Clark has arrived in North Carolina to make her big return back to the basketball court. Now, earlier today, I reported on Caitlin Clark coming back to the basketball court. And I'm telling you right now, it is definitely going to be a sight to see.
Caitlin Clark has barely said a word about Team USA since the day they left her off the roster. No rant, no angry post, nothing. Until now. Because when she finally talked about that decision, she did something way more powerful than blasting the coaches. She made it sound like Team USA never really held the power at all. And by the end of this video, you will understand why the people who once felt comfortable snubbing her now look like they had no choice.
The more things change, the more things stay the same. Team USA for the 2024 Olympics made a huge mistake. They left Caitlin Clark off the Olympic team. If the goal was to grow the game, needed to be on that team, but from a straight skill standpoint, Caitlin Clark deserved it for sure. Here we are, upcoming for the 2026 FIFA World Cup roster, and Team USA has went the correct route, in my opinion. They embraced the young guns. They embraced the younger generation, the generation that more casuals know. Names that are more familiar, not Alyssa Thomas. Who's Alyssa Thomas? No, we left her off.
When the original Team USA roster dropped without Caitlin Clark's name on it, the internet lost its mind. Fans called it a joke. TV shows ran full segments about how you could leave off the biggest star in women's basketball. Some veterans quietly liked the move. Others said she would get her time later. Through all of that noise, Caitlin stayed almost completely silent. No subtweets, no "they're hating on me" comments. She went back to work with the Fever, answered questions in the most polite way possible, and kept saying the same thing. It is an honor just to be in the pool. It is not my job to pick the team. My job is to be ready. On the surface, that sounded like the usual media training line, but underneath, it was something else.
So the WNBA media is absolutely positively lying to you about the impact of Caitlin Clark on the viewership of this league. And we all kind of know that, because reality is that yes, the WNBA was growing, but the reason why there was exponential growth, the reason why Unrivaled grew so much year on year, is because of the exponential boom caused by Caitlin Clark.
It was patience. It was calculation. Because while Team USA moved on like nothing happened, reality did not stop for them. The league kept playing. The ratings kept coming in. Every time Caitlin stepped on the floor, something crazy happened. Road crowds sold out. Jerseys flew off shelves. TV numbers looked like men's playoff games. Whether you love her or hate her, you cannot deny one simple fact. Caitlin Clark changes the math.
And last year, the WNBA rose in viewership for national TV games. If you guys don't know, Caitlin Clark games are 3 times the amount of viewers as non-Caitlin Clark and non-Fever games. The entire league wants to give Caitlin Clark no credit, and this is the league, the media, and by the way, I say the league because this is the media the league are promoting.
So now fast forward to that moment, the interview, the question everyone has been waiting for. How did you really feel about the Team USA decision? She could have let all that emotion spill out. She could have said she was disrespected. She could have dragged the selection committee for waiting. Instead, she did something completely on brand. She stayed calm. She said she respected the coaches. She said she understood that they had a process. She talked about timing, injuries, and fit. She talked about how her focus was on the Fever and getting better. And between every line, there was this one unspoken message. You can ignore me for only so long. That is what people mean when they say Team USA had no choice. Caitlin never screams it. She never says, "they needed me." She just walks you through the reality in 3 simple ways. First, the basketball reality. This is not 5-on-5 in a vacuum. International basketball is physical. It is slower. Teams pack the paint and dare you to shoot. Team USA's biggest weakness anytime they stumble is always the same: spacing, shooting, playmaking when the game gets ugly. What is Caitlin's entire skill set built on? Deep range, quick reads, passing to shooters in rhythm. When you watch Team USA struggle against a packed-in defense, it looks like the exact problem she fixes. Second, the business reality. You can pretend it is not about business, but it always is. Networks do not just want gold medals. They want storylines. They want characters. They want someone casual fans will rearrange their day to watch. Right now, that person is Caitlin Clark. So when she explains the situation with a straight face, when she talks about how grateful she is to even be considered, you can hear the subtext. The numbers are what they are. The ticket sales are what they are. The global interest is what it is. Team USA can try to be above all of that, but at some point, even the most traditional program has to look at the scoreboard off the court. Third, the politics reality. There is no way to talk about this without admitting the truth. There is an old guard in women's basketball. Players who have been grinding for years. Players who feel like they had to do everything the hard way. To them, it can feel like Caitlin skipped the line. So when she was left off the roster, some people called it basketball fit. Others called it ego. Others called it respect for veterans. Whatever label you use, it came from the same place. The idea that the program belongs to the players who were there first. That is what makes her calm response so dangerous. She does not clap back at anybody. She does not feed the feud. She simply answers the question like someone who knows the ground has already shifted. Because the more she plays, the more it becomes obvious that Team USA does not get to sit above the drama. They are part of it. They are affected by her, just like everyone else. So when people say they had no choice, this is what they mean. Not that the committee sat in a room and said those exact words, but that the combination of performance, business pressure, and public opinion backed them into a corner. Every game she played without that USA jersey made the original decision look worse. Every new rating, every new sold-out arena, every kid in a Clark jersey made it harder to justify keeping her out. And the most impressive part is this: Caitlin never had to threaten anything. She never said she would walk away. She never begged to be included. She just kept playing. She let everyone else argue for her. She let the numbers do the talking. So when she finally opened up about it, she was not trying to convince anybody of anything. She was simply confirming what you already felt. That is why this moment matters so much. This is the day she stopped being the rookie who got snubbed and started sounding like the star the system now has to adapt to. Not just in the WNBA, not just in college, at the national team level too. For Team USA, it forces a hard question. Are you picking the 12 best players on paper, or the 12 players who give you the best chance to win basketball games in the real world you are actually living in now? A world where one player can change your ratings, your sponsorship conversations, and the way every opponent prepares for you. For Caitlin, it proves something simple but powerful. You do not have to scream to show power. You do not have to play the victim to show you were wronged. Sometimes the most devastating thing you can do is stay patient, stay respectful, and wait for everyone else to realize they need you more than you need them. So here's my question for you. Did Team USA leave her off because they truly believed it was the right basketball call? Or did they overplay their hand and get dragged back to reality by the numbers, the fans, and the pressure? Drop your answer in the comments. Was this a pure hoop decision, a business decision, or both? And if you are still watching right now, drop no choice in the comments so I know you made it all the way to the end.
Again, it's interesting. No Asia Wilson, no Angel Reese. Everybody leads you to believe that it's always Angel. Nah, they just told you the next one up is Sabrina Ionescu. That actually does not surprise me for some reason. I don't know why.
Asia Wilson just got fired from Team USA. At least that's what it feels like. There was no press conference, no statement, no farewell tour for the face of the last Olympic team. Instead, USA Basketball quietly dropped a December training camp roster.
Basketball soon. I mean, I don't know how much access we'll actually have to this, but Team USA announced the official invites for the training camp they'll be having in December, and Caitlin Clark amongst them, as is her teammate Aaliyah Boston. So those teammates get to team up for Team USA, which makes a lot of sense. And I've said for a while, I think that the next version of the USA Olympic team could be a bit of a dream team, given you'll have the players that came up in this explosive era of basketball, along with the remaining veterans who are still in their prime. And it will be this recognizable roster, of course, headlined by Caitlin Clark, who rather famously didn't make the team in 2024.
Caitlin Clark's name was on it. A'ja Wilson's name was not. And when that list hit the internet, fans didn't need a press release. They looked at Caitlin walking into camp, A'ja stuck at home, and said the 2 words on your thumbnail: "You're fired." Because this isn't just any camp. This is where the blueprint for the 2026 World Cup and the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics is being drawn.
When it is, we are going to see Caitlin Clark back on a basketball court with other participants. This is going to be rather interesting because we are going to see Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Beckers all playing together. Now, we talked about the fact that Team USA, I believe it is in March, is going to play, I believe, in some qualifiers. That's probably when we're going to get to see Caitlin Clark play actual meaningful basketball again. But training camp is coming. The senior camp is coming. And it's coming in like 2 weeks. Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, and Juju Watkins.
And Caitlin Clark is in the building, while A'ja Wilson is watching from the sidelines. So how did we get here? For years, A'ja was sold as the safe face of women's basketball. Champion, MVP, defensive monster. Team USA gold medals. If there was one player who should have been untouchable, it was her. But somewhere along the way, the game picked somebody else. Caitlin Clark didn't just show up and hit logo threes. She broke every record you can think of. She sold out arenas that had never even cared about women's basketball. She made TV networks rewrite their schedules, and advertisers rewrite their budgets. And brands followed. Nike, State Farm. Every major sponsor looking for a global face didn't hesitate. They didn't say, "Let's build around the old guard." They said, "We want Caitlin Clark." That shift put A'ja in a spot she had never been in before. She went from the one everyone chased to the one chasing. Every time Caitlin did something historic, there was a new quote, a new comment, a new "actually" from the old guard. Talking about how other players should have been there first, how the attention was interesting, how the hype wasn't matching the real pecking order. On paper, it sounded like normal competitive talk. But to fans, it looked like something else: jealousy. Because here's what regular people saw. Caitlin's ratings were real. Her sellouts were real. Her shoe sales were real. Her impact on little kids wearing 22 in every gym in America was real. So when A'ja and others tried to downplay it, fans said, "That's not honest. That's not reality. You're just mad the spotlight moved." And USA Basketball was watching all of this play out in real time. Remember, Team USA is not just picking the best hoopers. They're picking a product, a story, a group of 12 faces that will represent the country on every poster, every commercial, every highlight reel for the next 4 years. So when the new camp roster dropped, it told you everything. Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, Juju Watkins, Aaliyah Boston.
Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers to make USA senior camp debuts. Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, and Juju Watkins will be among the 10 players making their USA Basketball senior national team camp debuts next month, when the storied basketball program hosts a training camp at Duke University from December 12th to December 14th. Why is it at Duke University? Well, the head coach, Kara Lawson, is the head coach of the Duke Blue Devils as well.
A wave of young stars whose games fit perfectly around a high pace, high spacing guard who can run the entire floor like a video game. And no A'ja Wilson. Officially, no one said, "We are done with her." They don't have to. Leaving your name off that list at the exact moment Caitlin Clark is being brought in sends a louder message than any quote ever could. Because this camp isn't just about drills and scrimmages, it's a chemistry test. What does Team USA look like when Caitlin is the one pushing the pace? What happens when the system is built for her eyes, her passing, and her shooting range? Which bigs fit around that? Which wings can keep up? And more importantly, who becomes expendable in that world? For years, the formula was simple. Start with Asia. Build around Asia. Everyone else can fight for the remaining minutes. Now, the formula looks different. Start with Caitlin. Who makes her better? Who makes the floor wider? Who turns her passes into easy buckets and her gravity into open shots? That is why people are calling this a firing. Not because Asia will never wear USA across her chest again, but because for the first time, the national team made a huge decision without her and did it around Caitlin Clark instead. And here's the craziest part. Asia did not lose this spot because she suddenly got bad at basketball. Her numbers are still insane. Her defense is still elite. On talent alone, she absolutely belongs in the conversation. But this is not just about talent anymore. It's about who grows the game, who brings sponsors, who gets casual fans to tune in at 3 a.m. for a game in Germany, who parents will let their kids stay up late to watch. Right now, fair or not, that answer is Caitlin Clark. So when you put all of this together, the jealousy, the public shots, the refusal to fully embrace the new face of the sport, and then you look at this Team USA camp where Caitlin Clark walks through the front door and Asia Wilson's name isn't even on the list. It feels less like a coincidence and more like a verdict. Team USA didn't tweet, "You're fired." They just moved on. Now the question is simple. Did they make the right call? Should Team USA build the next era around Caitlin Clark, even if it means leaving legends like Asia on the outside? Or is this an overreaction to hype that will eventually cool off? Let me know whose side you're on in the comments. And if you're still watching, drop Team Clark USA down below so I know you made it to the end.
So today, lads, we are going to be talking about this article. It's like the most powerful women in sports, America's most powerful women in sports. But if you guys don't know, Caitlin Clark is listed at number 4 here. I'm glad they said America, because a lot of the time you see like these lists just being American people.
Forbes just changed everything. They did not put Caitlin Clark on a cute little list. They crowned her the most powerful female athlete on planet Earth. Number 4 on their entire sports power ranking, but the top ranked athlete.
Let's talk about Caitlin Clark flexing her muscles when it comes to being one of the most powerful women in all of sports. And I think this is an interesting list that Forbes put out. There are 2 WNBA players on here. By the way, for all the unrivaled, it's not a conflict of interest, folks.
And that is when Asia Wilson started to lose it. This is not just about a magazine list. This is about money, power, and who really runs women's sports in 2025. By the end of this video, you will understand why Caitlin was crowned number 1 and why Asia's reaction might be a huge mistake. Let's start with the part the old guard does not want to talk about. Caitlin did not just have a good rookie season. She broke the system. On paper, her WNBA salary looks like any other rookie, around $60,000 to $70,000. But once you zoom out, the real number hits you in the face.
But if you guys don't know, Caitlin Clark is listed at number 4 here. And the reason why I'm telling you guys Caitlin Clark, it says here, her estimate 8.1 million income for a rookie season. She probably made double that. And that might be conservative. Saying she made double that might actually be conservative.
$8.1 million in a single year. That is Forbes running the math. Salary, endorsements, appearance fees. One season of basketball turned into new wealth, and that is before she even hits her prime. The engine behind that number is simple. Brands know she moves people. Nike locked her into an 8-year, $28 million deal. Before her first pro tip-off, she had already secured more guaranteed money from one brand than many players will see in an entire career.
And by the way, as we look at this list, brand president Nike, CEO of FanDuel, and of course Gail Benson, who we just talked about. This is showing you what I have been saying. It confirms what I have been saying. Caitlin Clark is the most powerful woman in not just basketball, but women's sports, all of women's sports.
Then Gatorade stepped in. This is the same company that built campaigns around LeBron James and Serena Williams. They do not hand out deals to be nice. They invest in athletes who can move product and shift culture. Putting Caitlin in that tier sent a clear message. In the eyes of global brands, she is not just another good player. She is the face of the next era. Wilson Sporting Goods made it even louder. They did not just sign her. They made her the face of their basketball line, the first athlete to get that treatment since Michael Jordan. Every time a kid walks into a store and sees her name on a ball, that is brand power you cannot fake. But the endorsements are only half the story. Whenever Clark plays, numbers explode. TV ratings jump. Games that would have drawn a few 100,000 viewers suddenly clear over 1 million. Arenas that used to be half empty are sold out. And it is not just the league making money. Local bars, restaurants, car parks, merch stands, all feel it. Cities hosting her games see spikes on game day. Caitlin is not just filling a box score, she is moving cash across communities. So when Forbes says most powerful, that is what they are measuring. Earnings, influence, eyeballs, economic impact. Now here is where the story gets messy, because A'ja Wilson did not take that news well. Nobody is denying A'ja's greatness. Multiple championships, MVPs, a Hall of Fame legacy. She has done everything you can do on the court. But power in 2025 is not just trophies. It is attention. It is how many people stop what they are doing when your name shows up on screen. And that is where the gap between these two players is massive. The cracks started to show as soon as Caitlin's Nike deal hit the internet. While fans were celebrating this win for women's basketball, A'ja's posts suddenly shifted. More talk about paying dues, more reminders about real impact and sustained excellence. On the surface, it looked harmless. Lined up with the timeline, it looks like something else. Then came the shoe talk. Right as Caitlin's brand exploded, A'ja started pushing content about her own signature shoe harder than ever. Constant reminders, throwbacks, close-ups. It felt less like normal promotion and more like a veteran trying to prove she still deserved to be treated as the face of the league. When Time magazine named Caitlin Athlete of the Year, the pattern continued. A'ja's congratulations was technically there. A short post, a quick story, but the energy was nothing like the long, emotional messages she gives to other players. Fans noticed it. It felt cold. It felt forced. And then Forbes dropped the hammer. Caitlin crowned the most powerful female athlete. A'ja pushed down to number 15. Everything that had been simmering in the background boiled over. Instead of saying, "This is good for all of us," A'ja doubled down on the same talking points. More shade about hype. More quotes about how real greatness takes time. More energy spent on controlling the narrative than celebrating the fact that someone finally blew the ceiling off what any of them can earn. That is not competitive fire. That is ego. And here is the truth the league does not want to say out loud. You do not get to decide who the face of the sport is. The audience does. The numbers do. The brands do. When millions of new fans show up for one player, when networks change their schedules around her, when sponsors pour millions behind her, that is not an opinion. That is reality. Caitlin Clark did not steal anything from A'ja Wilson. She unlocked a level of attention and money women's basketball has never seen. Everyone in the league benefits from that. Bigger TV deals, higher contract ceilings, more kids watching, more respect from other sports. If veterans choose jealousy over growth, they are only hurting themselves. So when you hear about A'ja Wilson losing it over Caitlin being crowned #1, understand what is really going on. This is not about a list. It is about who is ready to embrace the future and who is terrified of being left behind by it. Caitlin is not just the #1 female athlete on a Forbes ranking. She is the test of whether women's basketball can finally get out of its own way. If you are still watching, drop Team Clark in the comments so I know you made it to the end.